What is happening, sports fans? It's your main man, Pat, from the DFS 5-pack. I am rocking it solo. It is Monday, May 16th, halfway through the month of May. The summer months are coming. We got 11 MLB games to talk over tonight, so excited to get back on here for a full Monday slate. Hopefully everyone had a good Sunday. Wasn't the greatest DFS day for me, but as always, happy to get back on it today. Couple interesting NBA games. Interesting in that the Boston-Milwaukee game was close-ish, but the other game was just an absolute blowout. I was surprised that Phoenix got dominated like that at home. Was really, really surprising. So, yeah, no NBA today. The conference finals starting tomorrow. Interested to hear who you guys like in those games. Maybe we'll make an NBA video this week just because it's winding down and the best teams are now playing. I'm excited for both these conference finals. I think any team is live to win it all. Dallas is the worst team left, but they have the best players. So they obviously just took care of business big time in Phoenix. Excited for that. More excited, however, for MLB. Good slate tonight, 11 games. Doesn't look like there's weather concerns really anywhere here. So, yeah, that's always nice. Not the greatest pitching options in the world. We'll get there. Before I hop into the slate, I'm going to shout out our promoter, ABC Islands. Talked about them a bunch recently. The promo code and the link will be in the description section. It's just a cool new site to check out if you're into that sort of stuff. And as I've also mentioned, we've had a bunch of people come on and win money over there. So if you like sports betting, if you like winning money, I suggest you check out ABC Islands. And again, the link and the promo code will be in the description section. All that jazz out of the way. Let's talk this slate. I'm going to do game by game. Fuck it. Why not? We should be good to go. All right. So New York and Baltimore. Severino against Bradish. As far as the pitchers go here, Severino, I've always been a fan of his stuff. I mean, at this point right now, he's more solid than spectacular. He has, he missed so much time. I don't think he's at his full strength yet. But his workload, he's thrown 93-plus pitches in each of his past two starts. He was pretty good against Baltimore the last time they faced them. It's hard not to like Severino in this spot. I don't think he's like an absolute must, but as far as this slate goes, he's on the upper end of pitching options. Kyle Bradish was dominant in St. Louis last time out, struck out 11 Cardinals. Cardinals are very Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, in that they can go off. See last night against Carlos Rodon. And on the other side of it, see the start for Bradish where he just went nuts. I'm not really buying it. I'm more interested in the Yankees bats. The Orioles bats, not really for me. I'm not going out of my way to pick on Severino. But the Yankees bats, definitely. Aaron Judge, I mean, they're coming off a good series in Chicago. They won 3 of 4. Judge just balling right now. Big power numbers. Stanton on fire. Was 0 for 4 yesterday. But other than that, he had just been just on a tear. I like this entire lineup. DJ LeMahieu, first and third. Now they switch his positions too much. Cog in the machine type, not too expensive. Anthony Rizzo. I like this entire lineup as a stack, and I think they get some love, but not as much as they normally would, considering San Fran's and Coors at crazy cheap prices are getting sent to Tella. So I like New York here. They're one of my favorite non-Coors stacks, to get away from Coors in tournaments. Baltimore, no thank you. Seattle and Toronto, we've got Kikuchi against Chris Flexen. Kikuchi against Chris Flexen. Does look like Kikuchi is getting some love here. He's coming off 2 good starts. He pitched really well against the Yankees both times out. He hadn't really been great before that, though. 6,300 is too cheap for Kikuchi, so I really get him as an SP2, especially like the difference between Kikuchi and if you look at the other pitchers on this slate, it's just, I don't know. He's better than a lot of the guys above him. So I get why Kikuchi's getting love. In cash games, he makes sense as an SB2, not like the lock SB2. I think in cash, you're really looking at Severino, Peralta, Kikuchi, Logue from the A's, and Chris Archer on the other side of that game. But it does look like Kikuchi's getting some love, and I get it. Chris Flexen not getting any love, nor should he. He gives up power. He has not been very good this year. I think Toronto is another team that looks good as a stack. Let me see how much love they're getting. Not a lot, and that intrigues me. So both sides of this game offensively, I can get on board with. France and Vlad. Vlad is Vlad, always the preferred option. He's expensive. France is now cheap, having a really good year. Obviously, the upside lies in Vlad, but France is cheap. Mike Ford won't be in the lineup against the lefty. Second base, you got Frazier and Espinal. Well, Toro will probably be leading off. And if 2,900, I can definitely get on board there. Third base, Suarez against the lefty. Yes, please. And Matt Chapman, who I'm always a fan of, not having the greatest year, but still has power upside. And then Toro also available there. Shortstop, Bo Bichette. Not having the greatest year, but I still like him in this spot. And then the Seattle guys, interesting to see what they do with their lineup. J.P. Crawford against the lefty. I assume Dylan Moore will be in there also. Then the outfields. Springer and Teoscar I like a lot. Gurriel is a cheaper option. And then the Seattle side. Julio coming off the best game of his career. He's got massive upside, big power speed guy. Jesse Winker will be low on the order against the lefty. He's still a little bit away, but he's coming. So, yeah, I think both these teams make sense. Steven Souza at 2K against the lefty. For those of you who don't know, he hasn't been around for a few years at this point, but he had a couple good years for Arizona. Did he have his great years? Let me check. He had a couple really good years. Tampa. Yeah, it was Tampa who he was good for. And then he went to Arizona. He wasn't very good. But in 2016 for Tampa, he was never a big batting average guy, but he hit 250 with 17 bombs. And then the next year, he hit 240, but with 30 bombs. So, again, it's in there, deep in there, but it's in there. He's 2K. So, I think both offenses in this game are sneaky. All right, Houston and Boston. We've got Garrett Whitlock against Jake Odorizzi. I like Whitlock as a pitcher, and he's intriguing to me, even in this tough matchup. Odorizzi, good start for him against the Titans. He's been good recently. Boston, I know they're coming off a good series, but they have not had a great year overall. I don't think Odorizzi is crazy. And then Whitlock, he's got high strikeout stuff, but he's also pretty volatile. So I don't know. I could see using both pitchers from this game. I think Whitlock gives you the upside. Odorizzi is a little safer, but tough spot for Odorizzi. And we've seen him get blown up too. So I'm certainly not excited about him. I'd be more excited about Whitlock, but ultimately I won't get to either of them. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. Should be good now. I had to run out for a quick second. So I feel kind of similarly about both offenses in this game, too. Boston's getting some love. I mean, Devers on a tear right now. He's always in play. JD's been good. I know he homered. What couple days he's homered? He homered a couple days ago. He's been seeing the ball well. Kike leading off. I never mind picking on Odorizzi. He's been good his past 3 starts, but if you want to stack Boston, do your thing. And they're going to get a little love, but again, no cores. They're not in cores, so they're not going to be chalky by any means. Then Houston, I like Whitlock, but Houston looks good right now. Gurriel on fire. 19 plus in 3 straight, averaging over 20 in his past 3. He looks good. Altuve back in the lineup leading off. Bregman, I'm always a fan of Bregman. Then their outfielders, Alvarez, Tucker, Brantley. I mean, these guys are good. They also got Mauricio Dubon. I doubt he's in the lineup today just because they're not facing a lefty. But, Houston is always in play, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be tonight. Bunch of teams like that, though, where I can get on board with, and I could see breaking the slate, but ultimately might not land on because there's a bunch of those teams, and you can only play so many. So St. Louis and the Mets. This is an interesting one. Mikolas at Trevor Williams. Mikolas having a good year. Kind of like Odorizzi, even better than Odorizzi. He's been solid all year. A couple mass starts in there. His first start wasn't very good. I cannot see paying $9,800 for him against the Mets. Just can't see it. Don't really want to stack the Mets because he's been good. They're expensive enough. I mean, they're good players are. I don't mind like an Eduardo Escobar. I know he's not having a great year, but big game yesterday. He's 3,500. I could see him as a one-off. Nimmo and Marte. I don't mind the Mets here, but Mikolas has been good. I'll tell you what, I'd rather get to the Mets than Mikolas because I just am not buying him as a $9,800 pitcher, and the Mets can go off against anyone these days. I do like the Cardinals even more so, though. I am not a Trevor Williams fan. They're not getting love. Hate that they just went off last night completely on Sunday Night Baseball, but hey, maybe they're feeling good today and are going to do the same thing tonight. For the Cardinals, it's the usual suspects. Paul Goldschmidt, monster game last night. He's on fire right now. Nolan Arenado, homered last night, having an MVP type year. Juan Yepez, he's just come up absolutely raking. I like him in the stack. Tyler O'Neill, he's got big power upside, even if he's not having a great year. We'll have to see what their lineup looks like, but they're an interesting tournament stack for me that I will get, absolutely no love. All right, Pittsburgh against Chicago. Unfortunately, this is a game we have to talk about. Pitching for the Cubs is Wade Miley, making his second start of the year. Started against San Diego, threw 64 pitches. He's 4,400 against a weak Pittsburgh lineup. Even still, I don't know. I get it just because of the price. But I don't like rostering pitchers where I really don't expect anything from them, and I'm only using them to get up for, expensive bats. Like, I don't see any scenario in which he gets you. How many pitches did he throw last game? I struggle to see him getting over 15 DK points. And while you definitely take 15 here, I'd rather just, get 2 pitchers I feel more comfortable with and, sacrifice a little bit or sacrifice in salary as far as bats go. Doesn't necessarily mean sacrifice as far as production goes, but sacrifice as far as salary goes. That said, Pittsburgh sucks. Wade Miley is an established major league pitcher, 4,400 in play. Bryce Wilson, Dylan Peters, no interest in either, even though, the Cubs are not very good. From the other side of this game, the hitting perspective, I think Wade Miley's actually getting some love. Let me see something. Wade Miley. Yeah, he is getting love. He's pulling about 20% ownership, projected ownership, excuse me. Guys like Michael Chavis. I don't mind a Pittsburgh stack. I mean, Mondays, weird stuff happens in baseball and all sports, really. Yeah, I can see the Pittsburgh stack, especially if you want to spend up on pitchers. Not that there are studs I want to spend up on, but I could see Pittsburgh having a night tonight against Wade Miley. He's not usually a guy I want to go out of my way to stack against, so I probably just avoid this game completely, but I understand both sides of it. Pittsburgh because Miley's getting love and he's not very good, and then Miley because he can be good and Pittsburgh sucks. So there's that. As far as the Cubs go, I mean, they're not very good. They're cheap here. They're not going to be chalky because of course, but they probably get more love than they should. I don't hate them here, but coming from Arizona, they're not going to be where I land personally. All right, Atlanta and Milwaukee. We've got Ian Anderson at Freddie Peralta. So I hate using righties against Atlanta, but that's usually in Atlanta. We saw Yu Darvish get hit around a little bit. Freddie's been good recently. I mean, 4 straight solid starts, 2 of those really good starts. Now, not a death row of opponents, not a murderer's row, excuse me. Cincinnati twice, Pittsburgh and Philly. I mean, tough spot here against Atlanta. So I like Freddie. He's the best pitcher on the slate as far as DFS goes. He's expensive. He's in a tough matchup. But the drop-off from him is pretty real. Severino. The drop-off from Peralta is just real as far as upside goes on the slate. So I understand why he's getting some love or getting a lot of love. Just makes sense. And then Ian Anderson, I don't know where the strikeout stuff's gone from him. It's just not existent. He's too expensive. Tough matchup against Milwaukee. I have minimal interest in Ian Anderson here. See something. The Braves. The one thing I'll say about the Braves is we've seen Peralta get hit up, and their lineup is really good. So that's the case for the Braves. And then Milwaukee. I mean, they're hella expensive, so you're really going to have to spend up to get to these guys. Both teams pretty expensive, not going to lie. Gotta really want to plant your flag here, but if that's what you want to do, I've seen crazier things take down tournaments for sure. All right, Angels at Texas. John Gray hosting Noah Syndergaard. John Gray has not been great this year. I like picking on him. The Angels are not getting love. I like picking on him with lefties more, so I wish they had more lefties, but their lineup is lethal. Ohtani, Trout, Taylor Ward just continues to rake. I like all these guys that are expensive. Brandon Marsh in play. Rendon looks alive recently. Jared Walsh. Yeah, the Angels are for sure in play for me as a stack. I don't have much interest in Gray. He's not getting much love. So, if you want to, get real different with pitchers and use cores because they're going to use the Giants, I don't think Gray is a bad play there. If I were to play cores tonight, I would definitely get weird with my pitching. I just would rather do it the other way around and, use some under-owned offenses personally. And then Texas and Syndergaard. I mean, Syndergaard, he just doesn't really do it for me. He's more solid than spectacular these days. Doesn't get a ton of Ks. He was good last time out against Tampa. He's been good this year, so I don't really want to stack against him. Also don't really want to use him here. He faced Texas this year. Yeah, at Texas one time. He got the dub that day. He was pretty good. Texas's lineup just doesn't really do it for me here. I could more than likely just pass on this game from both sides. All right, next up we've got the White Sox and the Royals. Brad Keller against Johnny Cueto. Keller has been up and down this year, got lit up by Texas last time out. Was good against St. Louis, was good against the White Sox. He's had an up and down season so far. And I wouldn't be surprised by him pitching well tonight. I wouldn't be surprised by the White Sox getting to him. I'm really starting to only like the White Sox against lefties. And even then, they just continue to disappoint. This is a good spot for them. They're affordable. So Tim Anderson, 46, Abreu, 41, Robert, 45, Grandal, 39. I get the White Sox as a stack. I also don't think Keller is the craziest tournament pitcher in the world. Like another one of those guys, if you're using the Giants bats, Keller makes sense. In tournaments, ultimately, I like the White Sox here because they're not going to get much love. But, there's other teams I think I like more that are going to be similarly owned. Then as far as the Royals go against Cueto, coming back from Coors, I hate that. Wonder if they're going to get love here. It doesn't look like they're going to get much love. They are hot right now, so that's one thing to note. I mean, Cueto, I'm a huge fan of Cueto throughout his career, but he's not that same guy anymore. Their lineup finally coming together a little bit. So the Royals are a stack that's at least worth looking at. All right, now we get to the big spot on the slate. Coors, the Giants at the Rockies. Alex Wood against Antonio Senzatella. Senzatella is not good. I've often seen him be better at home than on the road. So I feel like people love picking on him at home, which is fine. I actually prefer picking on him on the road because the team will be less owned. In cash games, I don't have any interest in Senzatella at all in any format. As far as Alex Wood goes, he's been good this year, not amazing. He's pricey. Just faced the Rockies at home, was fine. I doubt I get there tonight, in Colorado. See how much love he's getting. Not much love, nor should he be. This is more about the bats here, obviously. From the Giants side, they're way too cheap all over. Brandon Belt, crazy cheap coming in as the chalk first baseman. Estrada, Flores, and Longoria, Brandon Crawford, 43, and their entire outfield. Peterson, Yastrzemski, Lamont Wade, presumably leading off. Luis Gonzalez at 2,600. You want to run 5 deep on the Giants in cash games, and in tournaments they're risky fade for sure, but they're going to be crazy popular. So that's the reason to get away from them. As far as the Rockies go, they're getting far less love than the Giants. They will be popular-ish, but they're much more expensive and a tougher matchup. But Wood hasn't been great this year, and they're good at home with a bunch of righty power. So CJ Cron, Brendan Rodgers, Connor Joe, all these guys are in play. I just doubt I pick on Alex Wood with a team that's that expensive. That's going to be popular. All right, couple games left. Twins and A's. 2 mediocre pitchers, Zach Logie against Chris Archer. Logie was awesome against the Tigers last time out. I'm just not buying this, really. So he's getting love. The Twins are not. I don't know. Excuse me. I'm not going to get to Logie here. I don't really understand the love here. I just don't get it. I get he's been good. Let's see one thing. And he was not good in the minors. I feel like I don't know. I feel like this is coming back down to earth in a hurry. I don't mind the Twins at all. I'm not on the Logie side. If he beats me, he beats me. And then Chris Archer, he's an enigma. I'm not sure what to expect from him these days. Nothing great usually. I'm not using him, that's for sure. I think there are worse plays on the board because he's in a great matchup. But more likely to get to some Oakland, honestly. I don't think I need it on this slate. And they're a team that just doesn't excite me. So more than likely I stay away here. All right. Diamondbacks at Dodgers. This is an interesting one. Madison Bumgarner hosting Tony Gonsolin. Gonsolin's been really good. I'm not completely buying what he's selling, but 20 plus in 3 of 4. He's got 12 or under in the other 3. I mean, he was in this same spot or on the road and dropped 12. He's expensive on a lot of slates with other studs. He wouldn't even be worth consideration, but he is worth thinking about with Freddie Peralta, the only guy ahead of him. Madison Bumgarner, he was good last time out. I think he's doing it with a lot of smoke and mirrors right now, but the Dodgers have not been good against lefties. He's not going to get any love, and the Dodgers will get some love. So I don't hate the idea in tournaments. As far as bats go, not overly interested in the Arizona side. I mean, Ketel Marte always in play for me, but not the day I'm going out of my way for him. And then no one else jumps out at me on that side. Dalton Varshaw's hella expensive. And then from the Dodgers side, Justin Turner crosses lefties. He's not too expensive. Hansel Alberto is going to be really, he is really cheap. He's going to be at the bottom of that lineup probably. The usual suspects, Betts, Freeman, Will Smith, always in play. I doubt I prioritize them against Bumgarner, but I'd get there over chalky Giants and Coors just because the ownership. And ultimately, whenever I can get the Dodgers low owned, I'm about it. Just not sure tonight's the night, especially because I think I like the Yankees and other teams more. That is what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want more info, more content, more me, more write-ups, any of that stuff, go check out the DFS 5-pack. We'd love to have you. I'll be back on here a bunch this week making betting videos, hopefully an NBA video, and I'll catch you on the flip side tomorrow. Thanks as always, guys.